Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight for Hal Sparks' Megaworldwide, a special State of the Loonies event. Something like that. But before we get to our real information tonight about the State of the Union, we go live now to a spectacular sighting that many people have been dreaming of seeing for quite a long time. Yes, do we have that, Jim, in the control booth? Are we able to go live to that? Fantastic. We now take you live to the Freedom Convoy in Washington, D.C. Live coverage. That's... Incredible turnout, Jim. I agree. As I understand it, the band will not be out till later. No word on whether there are two guitar players or one guy trying to learn on stage. Also, the winner of the Chris Farley lookalike contest will be making an appearance later on in the show if his zoo handler will allow him. Also, many of you are wondering why this fellow is wearing a salmon jumpsuit. Apparently, he made a mistake and was supposed to perform at the P90X convention and give a motivational speech, but unfortunately made a wrong turn because apparently some fucking truckers was blocking his way. And I figured, since he's there, what the hell? Oh, a crowd is starting to form. And leave. Well, that was his, We'll check back with them later, Jim, to see if any action is happening. We'll keep you abreast of any developments at the Freedom Convoy. Oh, I understand something else is happening at the Freedom Convoy. No, nothing else is happening at the Freedom Convoy. We'll go back to the Stage of Freedom later on in the program. And of course, the Stage of Freedom is currently free of audience members. There's certain freedoms they're enjoying today, aren't they? What was that, Jim? Oh, no, that's a guy with a camera. He just took it off to put a plastic bag on it so that he could remount it because of rain. And then that lady just tipped him because she thought he was a stripper. I'm sorry. The control room is telling me that she did not tip him. She did not think he was a stripper. She gave him the key and said, "Lock up when you're done." We will, again, all during the broadcast tonight, we will be checking in with the people at the Freedom Convoy gathering. Music is played, a rendition. They've just come out and a recital has begun. They had to erect a tomato splash guard behind them to keep any thrown fruit and vegetables from, right? And there's a person with a sign, State of the Union, disaster, inflation, no south border, COVID mandates, foreign policy. Yeah, that's, we may disagree about COVID mandates, but having a foreign policy, I think, is a mistake. Unsafey cities, that's a big lowercase e, I'm just saying. I think they went to unsaf, forgot there was an e on there, started the C in cities, and went, oh shit, and drew a straight line. I mean, you got to give them credit for covering. Not everyone has the means and wherewithal to be that quick with a Sharpie, save themselves from certain doom at that point. So very exciting. And a flag, plastic flag, no doubt made in China, attached to the sign for good measure. Also, the sound system is second to one. And apparently, these guys there's no music actually coming from this right now. They are just making jack-off moves. It's the Trump squirt squirt song, and that's what they're doing. We'll check back with them, Jim. Let me know if there's any movement with the people from the convoy showing up. Perhaps we'll get a wall of truckers. What's that, Jim? We do. I see. A flasher has taken the stage, and in honor of Donald Trump, will be apparently. I think it's a big windup. Hopefully, we'll be able to cut away in time. He will be showing his penis to the only two old ladies there. That's right. Those. Yes, I understand. We're getting information from our hamster on the field that there is those aren't real pants. He has zip ties holding fake pants legs in the proud tradition of park flashers, and of course, not afraid to give a speech and play pocket pool at the same time. Yes, that is a man playing with himself as he talks about freedom. And if there's nothing more free than that, I would say, other than, of course, not wearing the raincoat, which, of course, because of FCC rules, we will not be able to do. So, but as soon as he finishes his remarks, they will return him to the home. We're going to go back to that in a moment. If we can check in on the big finish. What, Jim, we may have an actual trucker. Yep, we actually, nope, this is a Diana Ross impersonator. Stop in the name of love. He was just doing that kind of show for us. There you go. Stop in the name of love. He's one of the best. Stop. I will stop, sir. Don't worry. Yes. A trucker, Diana Ross in person. That's fantastic. Thank you. He is fantastic, but we can't play the music, unfortunately, for you because of RIAA rules. But don't worry. There is a big finish at the one. I see. The sanity representative for the entire endeavor has come out. Wearing what looks like a coat made out of Doctor Who scarves, or that may be the tartan for the Dumas clan. That's possible, but he's obviously running for office. They, them, we don't quite know. But I will say that they've come a long way since their work as a side character on David Letterman. And the documentarian is taking care of this. Excellent. Well, Jim, we'll go back to that in just a moment if we can have go to the big finale, and perhaps we can check in after it's over. Oh, I understand we are able to get some audio from this. Are we able to?
I'm talking about the worst of the worst, a chronic drug addict, the worst that you can be, and I've been clean.
Oh, all right. He's apparently, I thought he was talking about Hunter Biden, Jim. No. It turns out he is actually talking about himself.
I used to be a horrible criminal.
I'm glad you're anchoring the show then.
I'm talking about the worst of the worst, a chronic drug addict, the worst that you can be, and I've been clean.
The worst, Ladies and gentlemen, the headliner at the Freedom Convoy is apparently someone with a higher body count than Ted Bundy. That's right. This combination of Ted Kaczynski and Scarface has taken the stage dressed as Larry Bud Melman.
I had a radical encounter with God 22 years ago.
Well, drugs will do that.
My life right. But only in America can you go from being a criminal to running for office. Only in America.
Well, actually, the interesting thing is, I guess as Trump fans, that might have been very inspiring. That said, there's a lot of other countries where you can actually not only be a criminal and run for office, but stay a criminal.
America can you go from being a criminal to speaking on stages of thousands of people around the world?
Around the world. That is a good save, by the way. Yes, indeed, people are watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Thousands of people around the world watching it. Hi, thank you for joining us for our special State of the Loonies address.
Only in America can you do that. And if God
Well, no, I mean, any place with internet these days.
can do that with me, he can do it with anybody. This is the greatest country in the world. And
I have been presuming that this is actually because it's the USA Freedom Convoy and mandates donate to help the fund Weber's Way, that this is in the United States. I will need some sort of verification. This could be an old Soviet munitions plant.
that's why we're fighting. That's why we're standing. And that's why we can't give up now, guys. God bless you all.
He's bailing.
All right.
And it's a shame that the dance floor stayed open the entire time.
That was Derek Gates. Derek Gates.
Derek Gates, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Gates. Derek Gates.
And his good-looking brother, Derek Gates.
Derek Gates.
All right, what are we gonna do, huh?
We're going to say goodbye to Derek Gates.
What?
You want to worship the Lord a little bit? All right.
Worship the Lord.
Oh, my Venmo's gone up
Are they
there.
really out of things to do?
I do have something
Shh, guys, your mic is live.
to say, and I guess I could preach it at this time.
Oh, and they're going to live folks on site there. These two have been covering it. And their mic is out. Great. That's, by the way, that's Winona and Blake, our on-the-field correspondents. No one tell them that the George Washington Memorial is behind them because it will panic them. They're just as long as they're facing this way, they'll be okay. Sounds good so far. Okay, great. Well, we'll check back in later if the convoy actually amounts to anything else. But next, we're very proud to go to Newsmax. Good evening. Welcome to Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. All kidding aside, the amount of ridiculous bullshit floating around in right-wing corners and poser left-wing corners, I guess we'd have to clarify these days. Yeah, that was the end of CPAC, in case you were wondering. It looked like Farley's Matt Foley, right? Like and subscribe. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. Thank you for joining me. All that kind of fun stuff. Oh, Regina, thank you so much. Get some snacks or a coffee on your drive. Thank you. I'm going to need them. I'm flying out at midnight tonight to Michigan to do shows. I'm at the Park Theater tomorrow night in Holland, Michigan. And then I'm in Grand Rapids the rest of the week at 3 different venues. It's very, very strange. Just follow me on Twitter. We'll get there. I don't know why I'm doing 3 different places, but it's fun. Who cares? At this point, I'm just happy to be out. So not being in one club for 4 days is kind of nice. We'll see. Anyways, tomorrow night, Park Theater. That's the important one. All right, here we go. Until Thursday. All right. So John Bolton went on Newsmax, and depending on whether you're Newsmax or not, it went either very well or very poorly. I would like to say right out of the gate, though, that John Bolton is a warmongering fuck, and who cares? But it's particularly hilarious that these folks dragged him on to kind of back up their bullshit narrative about Trump. And boy, they should have vetted the guest a little better, methinks. So yeah, this is oh yeah, and I got to turn the audio on. Is it playing? Play?
A loser is the title of that op-ed. And Ambassador Bolton joins us now. Sir, good to have you on. Thanks for...
Oh, by the way, he wrote that article, Gradual Sanctions is a Loser, because this asshole is the king of strafe bombing. gradual anything is a loser to him.
My first question for you is this: as a frequent critic of former President Trump, who would you rather have handling this situation with Russia right now, Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
Neither one. Look, Trump had made our relations with Ukraine so bad that I think the Russians may have been in Kiev by now.
He made the relationship with the Ukraine.
Yes, if Trump was still president, they'd be in Kyiv right now. That's what he's saying. Like, and again, he's like, fuck Joe Biden. He's a Democrat. I don't like him. But at the very least, they kept him out.
So bad between the United States and Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think that this endless quest for the deep.
And by the way, look how uncomfortable Rob is about to get. Look, that hit me right in the colon. This is supposed to go easier.
C server for the Hunter Biden connection to Ukraine made it almost impossible to have an effective policy to deal with the threat Russia poses to Ukraine. And I didn't see a second term getting any better. And it's no contradiction of that to say I think Biden has handled this crisis abysmally.
And by the way, that's a plus that Bolton thinks Biden is handling it abysmally, because it has not resulted in American soldiers on the ground or us using a tactical nuke inside the country. So that's enjoy the fact that he hates what Biden is doing, and also enjoy the kind of Schadenfreude moment with this bullshit between the two of them.
There is something to be said, though, about the simple fact that there was not aggression during the 4 years. I mean, you were part of that administration as well, and there was not aggression from Russia, and they waited him out, it seems, and made a move. I mean, we have a list of things that the Brookings Institution says the Trump administration implemented 52 policy actions against Russia, was pretty tough on Russia in a lot of ways, forcing NATO members.
Yeah. All stuff Congress made him do, all stuff he waited till the last fucking second to actually do. They're getting a lot of popcorn tonight.
Sanctioning Nord Stream 2. Oligarchs close to Putin were sanctioned, selling anti-tank weapons to Ukraine, so arming Ukraine, withdrawing from the INF treaty and expelling Russian officers from this country as well. He looked at...
And by the way, withdrawing from the INF treaty is not a plus. You can gish gallop and bury that shit in there, but that's just ridiculous.
In 2018, he looked NATO members in the eye. And
oh, by the way, expelled Russian officers. That was one of my favorite stories about Trump and the hold on. Yeah, there it is. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Remember this shit, 2018? Trump felt misled, angry over expulsion of 60 Russian diplomats. He just wanted that. He thought France will do 2, and we'll do 2, and Germany will do 2, and then the rest of them can stay. And ours were like, nah, all the fucked up ones got to go. And he was like, what? President Donald Trump erupted in anger when he learned the U.S. was expelling 60 Russian diplomats in March, while France and Germany were only expelling 4 each. The Washington Post reported late Sunday, Trump reportedly only wanted to match the number of the Allies' expulsions and not be seen as taking the lead. You know, America first, strength, letting Putin know who's boss. Don't be seen as taking the lead in responding to Russian aggression. You could get in trouble during your next performance review. Trump believed his aides misled him, the Post said. There were curse words, one official told the Post. A lot of curse words. Just the level of douchebaggery is spectacular. And you want to give him points. It is at the bottom of the list, I will say.
About the reliance on Russian energy by Europe and how horrible that was. I mean, he took a very tough stance against Russia. I'm surprised you don't think that he would have handled this better than Joe Biden.
No, he did not. He did not. We didn't sanction Nord Stream 2. We didn't sanction Nord Stream 2. We should have. We should have brought the project to an end. We did impose sanctions on Russian oligarchs and several others because of their sales of S-400 anti-aircraft systems to other countries. But in almost every case, the
By the way, because Congress made them.
sanctions were imposed with Trump complaining about it, saying we were being too hard. The fact is that he barely knew where Ukraine was. He once asked John Kelly, his second chief of staff, if Finland were a part of Russia. It's just not accurate to say that.
Is Finland part of Russia? Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I'm enjoying asshole on asshole crime a little too much.
Trump's behavior somehow deterred the Russians. I think the evidence is that Russia didn't feel. Let me finish now.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't feel that their military was ready. That despite all of their efforts to reform the
And guess what? It still ain't.
military, they were worried it wasn't enough. And I must say, from their performance in the first less than a week now, but in the first opening days of this invasion, it doesn't look like the Russian military is thoroughly prepared for this.
Nope.
So I think what Putin may have been waiting for.
Look at just the discomfort. Can you just enjoy that for a moment, everybody? Can you just enjoy Rob shit just going, ugh, ugh, just the gastrointestinal disorder that is going on in this sap suit right fucking now? He just, can't take this conversation anymore. Oh God, I can't. This is, oh God, every time he talks.
To get his act together, to see if the government of Ukraine would adhere to the Minsk agreements of 2014 and 2015, which were very damaging to the government of Ukraine, to see if he could get what.
Right. Yeah, by the way, here's the thing. John Bolton's assessment of situations is not a problem. It's his idea of a solution that's a problem. He wouldn't have gotten as far in his field if he didn't assess things properly. He's just a fucking lunatic about how he thinks he can solve the problem. He can recognize a problem, and that's, by the way, that is one of the ways that you surround yourself with a staff, is that you, hold on one second, let me flare it up, is you get people who can recognize the problem, and then you get problem solvers, and you don't necessarily have one person doing both.
Without having to use military force.
Who would have been? I mean, you say that you said Trump would have been in Kyiv by now, but he was Hunter Biden. The former administration was not tough enough on Russia at a time when there wasn't much to respond to at that point. Like,
yeah, what are they supposed to be tough about other than why did they even expel people at that point? Other than the fact that Russia was accused of using chemical weapons in Syria, and we had to do something, and Trump was like, okay, 2 people have to go, somebody unimportant, get them out. There wasn't really much, I mean, that's not much. There wasn't much to do about Russia. I mean, and we had to respond. They used chemical weapons in Russia. What were we supposed to do? We had to broom 2 of their people and give them 3 of our military bases in Syria, which is what ultimately fucking happened.
Now, I want to play a clip. This is you on MSNBC recently.
I think Putin was undoubtedly waiting for a second Trump term, but he's getting effectively almost what he would have expected then. This is going to be a victory for Russia.
I get that you don't want either.
How can you say that the Biden administration is almost as bad as Trump on these kind of things? Because there's got to be something to this that they can't. Please tell me something that there was got to be no.
Biden or Trump, you say they both are not handling that bad. I don't understand though.
Anything.
There is credit, I think, due. Whether or not you think Trump was the right person on Russia or not, or whether or not he was intelligent enough to handle Russia, whether you agree with that or not.
That was an assertion. All right, go ahead.
There is something to be said for the man that several years ago was telling our European partners that you can't be reliant on the Russian government and on the nation of Russia for its energy. I mean, he talked about that before. Nobody else was talking about that at the time. That prediction came true.
You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. The first person to tell the Europeans not to rely on Russian oil and gas was Ronald Reagan.
So fair enough.
But
yeah, at least it was a Republican.
Just hang on. Let me respond to that real quick.
Come on.
Let me respond to that. In that moment.
I was in the Reagan administration. Give me some credit, right?
So I remember looking at, I think it was Jens Stoltenberger and the rest of them. I mean, everybody it was just like, oh, here's Trump going after our allies again. He's cozying up with Putin,
You're sounding a lot like Steve Bannon. The phrase you're looking for is armor-piercing shell or tip of the spear. Just throw that in.
After our allies, that prediction was true, and sure, Ronald Reagan 40 years ago.
And it's also
40 years ago, when they built Nord Stream 1.
It's also, but it's also true that what Trump did was negative about NATO. As I put in my book, he once said, "I don't give a fill in the blank about NATO," and that was destructive.
Well, Rob's having a rough time. I mean, this is moved from his ass to his armpits now. He's gonna have like an airplane sweat moment in a moment.
And I think that the accumulated effect of that was in Putin's mind as well. What Trump did correctly, but certainly not the first president to do it, was say that the European allies should pay their fair share of our common defense obligations. And I think he did have an effect there. But it was something that every prior administration had tried, in this case with more success, because I think some of them, particularly in Eastern Europe, asked the Poles or the Estonians or the Latvians or the Lithuanians if they had any doubt about the danger they were in because of Russia.
Fuck, man. I'm just going to breathe this in for a minute. Yeah. Rob is a fucking mess right now. That is amazing.
You mentioned several other things in that list. Getting out of the INF Treaty. It's true we got out of the INF Treaty, and I was one of those who recommended it. And if we had gotten out of it earlier, it would have made, I think, some considerable difference in Putin's calculations. But this
do you think that he was soft on Russia?
Look at this. Trump issued more than 50 actions against Russia. And in that it was 60 human beings who were asked to leave the country. So -10 or whatever. Like 50 actions. He issued them. He had to do them.
And if we have a list of obvious things.
Yeah, these are obviously things. Put the list back up again. Please let me cling to the list. This is so unfair. Hold on. Stop fucking with Rob. Put the list back up.
That he made. He obviously wasn't Putin's puppy.
He wasn't his puppy. A puppy would be nice and make me feel better about this, but it's not true, and none of it's true. It's not true. Stop it!
I don't think he understood what he was doing. That's my fundamental point.
True. Trump understood everything. He knew ISIS better than the generals. He knew COVID better than the doctors. He knew light bulbs better than your asshole. He knew.
This is not really a policy argument. This is about Trump's lack of any significant historical knowledge.
Shit. This is okay. It's about to get real. Hold on. Back that up a second. Say that again.
I don't think he understood what he was doing. That's my fundamental point. This is not really a policy argument. This is about Trump's lack of any significant historical knowledge, his lack of strategic thinking, and frankly, his lack of thinking about pretty much anything other than what benefited Donald Trump. Why was he concerned?
By the way, Newsmax, you are not helping his case by playing this footage. He looks like he's asking for a hand job.
About Ukraine in the summer of 2019 because he wanted that DNC server. Why was he concerned about corruption in Ukraine? Because he was looking for an excuse to cover the reason he was refusing to send $250 million of security assistance to the Ukraine. And only
Look at Rob is just wilted now. Look at this. This is the whole like. He's just. Help me! Help me! I'm melting!
finally
What a world!
blew
What a
up in his
world!
face.
He did send some assistance, though. I mean, we did sell them arms.
It was mandated by Congress, and
I'm out of popcorn, motherfucker. This is so funny. Oh God. This is so great. And by the way, to the trolls who are upset by this, Trump hired this guy. And this guy loves Trump and thought it'd be a great idea to bring on someone Trump hired. I didn't arrange this. Fucking hell.
the danger was we were coming up to the end of the fiscal year. He made
By the way, I've said this a dozen times when we talk about this. That literally Trump was going up to the last fucking hour, and if he hadn't given him this stuff, they would have to go through a whole other budget cycle, and they would just pillory him from the right and the left on the floor of Congress for withholding arms from this country, basically pantsing them in front of Russia, which was the fucking point.
the reasons that he did it. He wanted to apply pressure for his own political purposes.
I still don't think it's fair to say that there was no intelligent moves to keep Russia in check during the 4 years of Donald Trump in office.
Well, no, there were some. They came from Congress and people in the administration that he had hired who apparently he didn't listen to.
I don't think that's fair
I
at
didn't
all.
say that.
Okay.
Well, I didn't. No, that's fine because I didn't say that. My point is Trump was not fit to be president. He was not.
That is not the soft landing that Rob was expecting. Look at his. Oh my God, this is so great. Oh God. Sorry, run that by me again. Just the answer.
I still don't think it's fair to say that there was no intelligent moves to keep Russia in check during the 4 years of Donald Trump in office. I don't think that's fair
I
at all.
didn't say that.
Okay.
Well, I didn't. No, that's fine because I didn't say that. My point is Trump was not fit to be president. He was not
This is so amazing.
competent to be president.
You worked for him, though.
I did.
I mean, you wanted
Because I
to be
wanted
on
to
that
try
team.
and help protect American. That's exactly right. To help protect American national security.
One last question, and they're trying to wrap.
That's the other thing that Rob doesn't understand. Like, some of these people went. There was a bunch. I mean, you remember all the conversation. All you guys remember the conversation about people who were afraid to leave the administration after they saw what an asshole he was because they were afraid to leave him alone with the button.
At the chance.
What do you
there's
do
no
in this
doubt about it.
situation? You say Biden or Trump, neither of them you could handle this. What would you do?
Well, at this moment, look, you're 20 moves into a chess game where I haven't liked the last 15 moves, but I do think we need to put a stake through the heart of the Russian energy sector. If we cut off export of oil and natural gas, it will drive
the prices up.
revenues to zero. I think there are other things.
It will also drive prices up all over the world and therefore raise the prices in the States. And I'm sure because of America and America first and America's interests. Rob wants that to happen.
Can do to wake up the Russian population. I would impose a total visa ban on all travel by Russian citizens out of Russia to Western Europe or the United States, and more things like that, including continuing to ship weapons to.
Well, they're stopping the airplanes already. I don't care what what good your visa is going to do. I mean, I guess they could walk across borders and that kind of shit.
Ukrainians, and taking up President Zelensky's request to establish a NATO no-fly zone.
A NATO no-fly zone. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. No, not okay. Not all right. That escalates the entire thing. Automatically makes them a de facto member of NATO and starts World War III. No. You don't have to start a fucking no-fly zone. The Russians don't have air superiority right now. The Ukrainians just went to Poland and got a bunch of donated planes from NATO and us. The column has stalled because they're strafing it with our gear.
Sir John Bolton, I knew it was going to be an interesting conversation.
Yes, interesting is the word.
Appreciate you coming on. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Glad to do it.
Hearing all sides here on Rob Schmidt.
Oh, God.
It was going to be an interesting conversation.
So great.
We do appreciate you coming on. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Glad to do it.
Hearing all sides here on Rob Schmidt Tonight. All right, coming up, ordinary Ukrainians taking up arms to fight for their country, including
supermodels. Yes, including Miss Ukraine. It's interesting that this is the picture you show. Fucking, oh, God. So good. It's just so good. It's just so good. Do I have that? Yeah, I do. Yeah, that we need Rob's face for that one though. There we go. Oh, that was it was too good to pass up. I saw that floating around and I'd heard him, the unfit line had made it around the Twitter sphere, but I intentionally did not want to watch any of it till I could watch it with you guys. And secondly, I think you're probably as happy as I am that we all watched the whole thing, that whole exchange. Because a lot, when a little clip floats around Twitter, it can be blown out of proportion, or it can actually exemplify the entirety of the thing. But there's all this other stuff that just seems to get disappeared into the memory hole, and it's just such a beautiful thing. I gotta say, to just see this. Oh God. Anyways, like and subscribe, give a thumbs up. This is Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. All right. Do we now? Count them. Two of the biggest fuckheads on the internet. This is just one of them. Russell Brand and Jimmy Dore have both had the ugliest, shittiest takes on Ukraine on day one, and then in Russell's case, totally hidden from the topic ever since he shit the bed. And in Jimmy's case, just reiterated the same lies he told the day before in kind of a truncated form and tried to bring on other people to go, see, it's still true, even if they are murdering people right now. I'm still kind of true, right? Yeah. So anyways, not surprising to anyone, Ruble Brand had Jimmy Derp on his the podcast that he has, Under the Skin or Around the Skin or something. I don't know. It's based on the concept of an infection, and he plays I guess this is a select clip to make you want to watch more. And by the way, but fuck off. By the way, the title is "The Establishment Are Shitting Their Pants." Apparently, Rob Schmidt from Newsmax is the establishment. Also, That's the title of the video. The establishment are shitting their pants. I mean, the establishment is a boogeyman, or the this establishment is the left-wing version of the deep state. It's the same argument. It's always this mythological dragon that lives in a cave, and if but for slaying it, all of your policy dreams could come true. The deep state is the same shit. It's ridiculous. But I don't know what they're referring to, but this is right in the middle. This is March 1st. This is today. 17,000 views of this thing, 2,584 rumbles. Just kicking Rudy and Bongino's ass, even on Rumble. And I'm sure it's not laundered foreign money. But here we go.
We're living in right now, one thing is positive. The establishment know that if people keep coming together and standing up to them, they do not stand a chance.
The establishment of what? We establish these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal? That kind of establishment? Jesus.
I had a fantastic conversation with Jimmy Dore, fellow YouTuber.
Yeah, and that's why I'm talking like Ali G right now. Booyakasha. Yeah, boy. Why are you doing that? You can tell he's bullshitting when he slips into Ali G.
Fantastic comedian, brilliant man, independent thinker. You should watch his
no, none of those things are true.
and subscribe to that too. He came on my podcast, Under the Skin, and talked about the Democrat Party.
Oh my, what? He came onto your podcast and talked about the Democratic Party? Wow. I mean, talk about speaking truth to power.
And they're betraying people, how the establishment is falling apart. Funny, insightful.
Yeah, he talked about the Democratic Party and how the establishment is falling apart. I'm glad you guys picked your targets.
Well researched. Stay to the end of this clip because I want you to comment. I want to know exactly what you think about it.
That's the standard YouTube sales thing. They tell you to do it in videos, and I still haven't picked it up. It's a good habit, and that's how you make the big bucks.
As well as having high-level conversations with brilliant thinkers, I'm touring all over the UK. You can come see me in Glasgow.
Oh, and an ad for your shows. By the way, I'm going to be at the Park Theater in Michigan, in Holland, Michigan, tomorrow night. Yeah, come see me if you're in Michigan. Also, well, never mind.
Plymouth, Newcastle, Bristol. There's a link in the description to come see me live. You won't believe these shows. They're crazy. Come see me.
Yes, I will believe they're crazy. I think they'll be incoherent horseshit. Yeah.
All right, let's get into this. What?
And this is a meeting of the minds, folks. This is two people who couldn't care more about the plight of the poor. That's why they each have $560 microphones, and in the case of Russell, $200 headphones. And multi-million-dollar houses. But plight of the poor.
Seem to you to be the absolute priorities in creating a new politics, like media control, freedom of speech, allocation of funds, real democracy, waking people up, which is like, I know this is your bread and butter, you do it every day. What would be your priority?
Yes, freedom of speech, which we clearly don't have.
And would you address some of the things I said, like that sort of local, like that tax autonomy model and stuff?
Tax autonomy model. Can you just start yapping about whatever you talk about in your show? I really don't watch it, and I really don't know, while I sit back and pose. Hello, I'm doing my Jesus.
Let me just say this before I address your question directly, is that, I live in California. Now, California is the 5th largest economy in the world.
No, it's more like the 8th, but okay.
Just the state of California. And we have supermajority Democrats elected in California to run our state legislature. Supermajority, meaning Republicans can't stop anything the Democrats want to do.
Well, if they all agree on it, sure.
And we also have a Democratic governor. So if you think the fix to capitalism or oligarchy or to the republicanism...
By the way, why would the Democrats be, quote unquote, the fix for capitalism? Like the elimination of capitalism? You don't actually think that's on the fucking table, do you? Yeah, I mean, at this point, like, I guess this is technically a mask-off Marxist moment. The millionaire Marxist crowd are all big on, yeah, we need to eliminate capitalism now that I have a $1.4 million house and private property.
Corporatism or to any of the problems in your life is voting harder Democrat. This should disabuse you of that idea. There's people.
Yeah, you need to vote Republican. That's exactly the point. You need to tear the whole system down. What we need is a non-functioning government in California that,
Sleeping under every bridge in California. We don't have student debt relief. We don't have.
By the way, hold on. Oh, this is Rumble. I can't jump back on this. This is annoying. Say that again.
We don't have student debt relief. We don't have. People can't afford to live here.
We don't have student debt relief. People can't afford. We have people living under bridges because our homeless survive, and we have more programs than any other state in the country, and so people tend to move here, and also other states dump them here, and also we don't forcibly incarcerate people for being homeless. So, people.
Unbelievable income disparity. We have a housing crisis, and
by the way, the unbelievable income disparity happens to be the fact because we have Silicon Valley in our state, which contributes to, which is nationwide, a peak of money being made in the service.
Don't have health care in California. So if you think you can vote your way by voting Democrat out of any problem you're in, that is ridiculous. And that's why when people come on your show and say, we got to just vote harder for Democrats to fix it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've got a queen. I do have that. But yeah, tell me how the Democrats suck.
They don't even believe that. That's just a lie. That's no one who is a sentient being who's been alive for the last 6 years. I've been watching politics since 1980.
Yeah, all through the Trump years, the one thing I learned was more Democrats won't help.
Nobody could believe that. That's just a bullshit, 100% on its face. The people who keep telling you to vote for Democrats are people who don't want to actually get outside the polite society that they circle in. You know, they'll save the bubble.
The polite society. Yes, I would like a functioning society full of polite people, as opposed to lunatics and people who live under monarchy who piss on our country from a distance.
They travel in. They want to stay friends with all those people who are oppressing workers and all that stuff. And they don't want to. That's what that is about.
They want to stay friends with all those people who are oppressing workers. That's why I do it, honestly.
How can we get more?
How can we twist our mustache like a supervillain while Jimmy rubs his hands together like a supervillain? What the fuck?
More control over our government. Now, I mentioned Ralph Nader before, and I said this before I knew he had said this, but in 2015, 2016, I was telling people because the Democratic Party had cheated Bernie Sanders. That's not hyperbole.
It's a lie. They had not. Sorry.
It's proven. People had to step down in shame.
No. They sacrificed some people. He lost on his own.
That they were cheating. Hillary Clinton was literally running the Democrat.
Yeah, the Democrats were actually running the Democratic Party, and an independent candidate wanted to run using the Democratic Party as a super PAC, and he had a ceiling of 32% in every fucking poll internally and was never going to win. Still true.
National Committee
never did
during the primary, which is, that's fraud. That's unethical.
No, it isn't. It's their party. He didn't stay a Democrat after he joined, did he?
And it should be criminal. So
Yes, it should be. Yeah, look at that. Look at the face. Oh, fuck yeah. That should be criminal for a carpetbagger to come in and then leave after they lose and then come back and do it again. It should. All right.
Told people is you can't now give your vote to these people. So what you have to do is if everybody.
By the way, this is the guy who, if you watched yesterday's video, called Bernie Sanders the establishment's butt boy. Just to clarify. I don't know if this was taped before that or after. Doesn't quite matter.
For Bernie withheld their vote and told pollsters that they're not going to vote for Hillary Clinton. She would be down 10% in the polls and she would never have a chance to beat Donald Trump. And so then we would have power. And then the Democratic Party would have to come to us because then they can't win an election without us. So we would.
Right. So what we would do is we would kneecap the Democratic Party without having to create our own party or actually run a solid candidate on his own. And in that case, they'd have to know that if we could basically put the Donald Trump gun to the head of America and go, if you don't do what we say, even though we have a ceiling of 23%.
Forcing some kind of an issue there. And so that's what Ralph Nader was saying all the time. We don't have to win an election. If we can get 10% or 15% of the people,
we can guarantee the Republicans maintain control for decades.
10 million or 15 million people to band together and say, we're not voting for you unless you promise us health care. We're not voting for you unless you promise to end the wars and invest that money back.
We're not going to start our own party because it would never fly, but we're going to hold your party hostage against people who will absolutely destroy. And why am I being told to check Twitter other than just Twitter? Am I right there? About the people showing up on Patreon, is that it? Okay.
We're not voting for you unless you promise to cancel our student debt. We're not voting.
And what happened? Jimmy Dore and the Young Turks and a bunch of those crowd talked about 75,000 voters in 3 different swing states into not voting, like leaving Hillary blank because fuck her, she cheated Bernie. And what happened? Donald Trump was president, and all the joy he brought. And all the deaths that are happening now because we don't need a pandemic response team. And hey, if you don't do what we say next time, even though we don't technically have the votes to get it through the Senate, and we do have a democratic government, this isn't an authoritarian government. If you don't do what we're going to say, we're going to let, I guess, Ron DeSantis run the country.
Unless you promise to give us a living wage.
Oh, Andrea, I'll get them into the show. They'll be on the list. Anybody who's a Patreon person, just let me know or let CSL know, and we will get you on the list for whichever show you want to come through, you and a guest. So that's one of the nice things about becoming a patron on Patreon. Whichever show you want, and there will be a meet and greet after every show.
They would have all that power. Now it's up to the Republicans or the Democrats. Which ones do you want? And now it'll be all out in the open. And if neither of them wanted those votes, that's when we'd have another trucker sit down where they would shut stuff down. So this is.
Yeah, that's what we want to do, because when you've got one group that wants to privatize Social Security and dismantle Medicare and Medicaid, and then the other group wants to create the ACA with a public option, but doesn't have quite the votes yet, but thinks that there will be natural steps towards that over time. Basically, you're talking about a lesser of two evils situation. Single payer ACA version, that's evil. So fuck them. Never let them get near the walls of power. What you'd rather have is somebody who you think will burn down the whole fucking system so that people will die. And if 24 million people don't have insurance and a bunch of them die and their kids don't have insurance and they die and a bunch of we continue to have the status quo of massive bankruptcies because of that, then it's the small price to pay for blackmail.
That was my big idea, Russell, that you don't need to get it.
Yeah, it's a fucking stupid idea. You don't have to convince people. What you have to do is blackmail the Democratic Party because they're the only ones who fucking care about people, because the Republicans don't give a shit, and threaten them with helping the Republicans kill people.
People in a third party or a major party that could actually win a national election. You just need to get enough people that are like-minded.
That's right. You don't need enough people to actually be able to win a national election. You just need enough to guarantee the Democrats can't, and then
willing to not.
And then you push an idea that 64% of the country will never vote for and make sure that no Democrats get it. And that's a great idea.
For those parties. And that's how you influence them. And that's how you can have massive. So we're not going to get anything in the United States without massive public displays of protest, right? Direct action.
Yeah, direct action. That's what it is. And that's basically what Jimmy's show is. It's direct action. He sits in his $1.4 million house that he bought with Russian super chats. And he talks to Russell Brand, who lives in his $4 million house in the English countryside. And this is direct action.
So that's what's happening in Canada. And they don't want to cover that. As you mentioned, they're not covering.
Yes, yeah, they won't. Yeah, nobody's covering the fucking Canadian truckers. Except everybody who fucking well is. And also, what are the truckers protesting, but getting vaccinated. They don't want health care. They have health care. These people are avoiding health care.
And if they do, they cover it in a disparaging way because strikes are catchy. When that stuff, when
Yeah, strikes. I like the idea of strikes because I work for myself and I do movies with Kenneth Branagh. Yeah, strikes. All these shitty people that do all these things, except the delivery driver that brings me Postmates. He can't go on strike. I don't like those kind of strikes, but like factory workers. I don't use factory things, I don't think. I buy all my shirts off Etsy for $800.
see how well that's working, how much that has the establishment shitting their pants, because they are. They have to stop that soon. And as soon as, if people saw.
And by the way, the establishment is not shitting their pants about Canadian truckers. Honest to God, you think anybody, no one gives a rat, I mean, why would you, for fuck's sake, hold on, where was this? Hold on, there we go, yes, the establishment is shitting their pants about, open up the page for fuck's sake, get in there. Yeah, this is making the establishment, you know, the people who've been around for a long time, been through a lot of things, gotten voted for again and again, run and won again and again. They're shitting their pants about this. And it's 10% of 10% of the 10% that are assholes. They're like 10% of Canadian truckers that aren't vaccinated, but they're not all assholes. Some of them have medical issues. Some of them just truck out in the middle of fucking nowhere and don't think it's necessary. Others don't think they are worried about it. And then there's the ones who will line up and block fucking roads so ambulances and delivery trucks can't get through. And that's the argument. That that Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and AOC and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and all these backstabbing traitors are all shitting their pants over this. I mean, it is broadcasting and USA Freedom Convoy. I mean, they're shitting their pants. No, are they? Are they though? I don't know. I'm trying to do sexy faces. Well, you know, because you're nothing to look at, Jimmy, not like me, yeah? So I like the ladies watch my show, yeah? That's one of those things, you know? And I figure I'll bring someone on. A lot of my guests look like shit, so I look better by comparison, yeah? That's fun.
We could actually take our power back, right? I said if everybody who worked at you...
Yeah, our power back. And by our, I mean anti-vaxxer, trucker, QAnon fuckheads.
UPS and Amazon just didn't go to work for 2 days, the whole country would stop. And
yes, if UPS and Amazon, the workers didn't go to work for a couple of days. By the way, these fuckers don't work at those places and daily get packages at their door that aren't really necessary. These assholes have lots of money, so they're not getting their pills through the mail. You get me? These assholes are not getting anything necessary. Every purchase both of these fuckheads make that comes through the mail and that they buy through Amazon, and I guarantee they spend a shit ton of money on Amazon. Like, I would love to see these guys have the fucking chutzpah to show their Amazon order list, their previous orders. Seriously. Do you think they would do that? That's what I'm calling on right now. Russell Brand, Jimmy Dore. I'm calling on both of you to post your Amazon orders. Everything for the last year and a half. Whatever you've ordered. You can black out anything that's like, you know, butthole salve or itch cream or, you know, whatever physical quirks you use to operate in polite society. You can black those out. Everything else. Because I guarantee this, both these assholes have a full fridge. Both of these assholes have A1 healthcare that they get their medicine through directly, or they send an assistant to get it. So if they grind this shit to a halt, if that's really what they want, they're not going to be hurt in this. They got no skin in this fucking game. It's the same thing with the ACA. They're like, fuck the ACA. It didn't have, it wasn't Medicare for all, so it should be, like, vote against it. Never mind the number of people who were genuinely helped by it, who had insurance, who would have been completely kneecapped by medical costs if they hadn't had insurance. Never mind the fact that that Biden and Obama were both trying to get the single payer into there as a buy-in, essentially, for Medicare for people. But fuck that. It's not, it's not what we want, so nobody gets what they want. Perfect is the enemy of the good, and if you live off the good, my life is perfect, so who fucking cares?
They have to realize their power, but the problem is unions also get corrupted. And so now the major unions aren't really against the oligarchy, they are the oligarchy.
Yeah, so unions are the problem now. But you can't even fucking unionize.
So that's why it has to come from the bottom up. It has to come from the grassroots. And
I'm not in the grassroots, and you're not in the grassroots. We're both millionaires who yap on the internet for a fucking living, who've been doing it for, 2 decades now? These guys have never skipped a fucking dessert.
as far as the things that you talked about, like more local level participation where you could see where your tax dollars go.
Yeah, I did say that, didn't I? I did bring up the thing about where your tax dollars go. I mean, I don't know much about that. I've got an accountant. And he tells me where, whatever. And I do live in a monarchy, so...
I mean, of course, that is if you could start at a local level, that's always the best. We were lobbying here with Ron Placone in Pasadena, California. We would go to the city council meetings and we would lobby our representatives for broadband, right? Why can't we have universal?
Yeah, why can't we have universal broadband? Fucking Biden added that to the infrastructure bill, and he's yet to give him credit for that. Why can't we get broadband? We were lobbying... Fucking so you could have better internet so you could live off the tit of a government provided service and build a business on it for free. Why can't we have fiber optic? Jesus Christ. Like, look what drug him out. Was he complaining about in Pasadena that they don't have enough crosswalks that beep for the blind? Or were they worried about school lunches in Pasadena? Were they worried anything? Were they worried that there were enough bus routes for senior citizens and workers who didn't own a car? No. What did they go to? What were they lobbying for at the fucking better internet? Get fucked, you lazy bastard.
Broadband provided by the city and how it would save everybody money and how it actually. And so anyway.
Yeah, it would save us money because we wouldn't have to pay a company for extra usage. And we could just totally run our entire business off of free city internet and suck all the bits out of everybody else's trough, because there would never be, of course, enough at that point technologically for other people to stream shit. So while my show is going on, everybody else's lights would fucking dim.
I'm with you on that. I need more ideas that way.
Oh no, Jimmy. No. You got plenty of ideas. Go down and lobby for your own business self-interest. What more ideas do you need? I mean, it's not like we have a functioning democracy where you can choose your representative by actually fucking voting, and that adults, when presented with an imperfect choice, choose the one closest to the best outcome as a fucking adult.
I haven't looked into it probably as much as you have, but yeah,
He hasn't looked into it at all, Jimmy. He was passing it off to you to blather about. What the fuck?
For that.
Hey, so how did you, there's a few more. I mean, I've got questions to...
Yeah, I've got questions. I don't have any answers. I don't know. I fucking hell. Should people... I mean, how many politicians should you set fire to? I mean, I use wood to heat one of the rooms in my house, but only when I have guests and we're having cheese.
The entire hour of content, you'll be astonished that I'm a professional person. But Jimmy, I want to know,
But Jimmy, tell me, you just told me you've got no ideas. What's your idea for?
A little bit more biographically, like how did you come to cultivate?
Oh, for fuck's sake. How did you come to cultivate your interesting take on, I mean, what was it? What was the driving force besides you being a self-involved bastard?
Perspective, how do you manage the tension between being an entertainer and
Well, he just doesn't entertain. Have you seen his show? It's mean-spirited. The best you can hope for is clapter, and he steals jokes from the people on his show and presents them as his own. It's shit. It's basically his show, and then they just do it in a club. It's the same fucking thing. What do you mean balance? It's the same fucking thing. I'm the one with 2 acts.
you know, an activist, obviously explicitly and
Yeah, he's an activist. You went all the way down to the Pasadena City Hall to bitch about broadband for your fucking job.
a dedicated way. That's what you are. How do you manage that? That tension?
I mean, what do you do?
How did you get? How did you cultivate these views?
If you enjoyed that conversation with Jimmy Dore, you might consider some.
Oh, I guess fuck the answer then. There was no answer. I'm just going to assume there was no answer. That's the bailout? The fuck out of here. How can I, Jimmy, how can I be a has-been comedian and pretend I'm a liberal? Yeah. How can I pretend to give a shit and never actually do anything helpful? It's amazing. How do you do that? If you like this kind of fucking thing, please sign up and go to all my fucking shows. $75 a ticket. This cordwood isn't going to chop itself. I got a mate down the street. He's not a mate. I don't talk to him really. He smells funny. Doesn't smell enough like patchouli. I think he actually eats at like working class places, but he comes like he doesn't eat organic. Okay, so I'm not gonna let him on the porch. But anyway, it's not important. He cuts the wood, and that's why these shows are fucking expensive. Don't forget, join my watch these shows, build your anxiety, get really afraid, understand the world is doomed, and everybody is out to get you, and paranoia, and the establishment wants to destroy everything good, and everything you thought you could trust is total shit. And then take my meditation course. Go to my other channel and learn to breathe, to get rid of the anxiety that I created myself. It's like I'm a drug dealer that runs a rehab on the weekends.
To Luminary when my podcast Under the Skin comes out every...
I'll do that thing. It's always on. And I'm even doing that Ali G fucking dip can flick that I saw, but I don't know what it is. But I'm going to do that.
I speak to amazing, influential...
Apparently, someone told me that if I gesture on camera, it draws more attention. That's right. If I could just... This is the kind of thing that... This is the kind of dynamism that actually makes people interested in your fucking show. That's what it does. I'm Russell Brand. Basically, I want to be Kermit the Frog, but I can't find someone to put 10 fucking straps on my arms and wiggle me around. Yay!
Independent thinkers. What did you make of that? Jimmy Dore, working class...
Independent thinkers? The dude is the intellectual equivalent of a school shooter. He doesn't give a fuck. He's a self-involved bastard, and so are you. This is the lamest anti-democratic bullshit I've seen that isn't in Russian.
Background, brought up by a copper, recognizing that the Democrat...
Brought up by a copper and has called for the death of coppers. He's gotten 4 cops shot in the fucking head. Well, no, 3 of them died. I guess they were shot multiple times, not just the head. The other guy's in a wheelchair because he was shot in the head. Yeah, brought up by a copper, so he's always wanted to see one killed. And now he's got a body count. He's one of the few people I could have on my podcast that's had a fucking body count.
Is hollowed out and empty. Do you think that's true? Do you think the Republican Party are any better? Do you think that what Jimmy says is true, that if we start coming together...
Yeah, if I just say stuff that's incendiary and angering and bullshit and just waddle about it and gesture a lot, you'll make a comment and I'll make some money.
Looking superficial differences, forming new alliances, we will terror...
Yes, He's worth, right, Jimmy's worth $4 million. Forming new alliances. He's worth $4 million. I'm worth 12. And he and I get together perfectly. And we want you, who works for minimum fucking wage, plus to strike so that we can pat ourselves on the back.
By them. That surely is our future. But that's just what I think. Let me know in the comments below what you
I don't have to. Russell, I don't need to go to the comments section on your Rumble page. I can let you know what I think right now. Fuck you. Fuck you, you opportunistic sap. It's just like, I love how both of these assholes are all about sacrificing everybody else's fucking life from a fucking on a pile of bodies. Jesus. I'm moving. I'm being physical. Oh.
give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to it. I'm on tour.
No, I'm not. Yeah, we know. You already sold it. Look at this fucking desperate bullshit here. Good Lord. Reminds me of this guy. Hey, look, they got the same fucking beard. Coincidence? I think not. What do you think the chances are that Trump spooged in that hat and there was birthed Russell? Guys. All right, yeah. Oh, fuck off. So, let me, real quick. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. I go through all these clips all the way through, and sometimes, like the one we did yesterday, it was work. That was pulling teeth, I gotta say. But it's much easier with you here, and I want to thank you guys for showing up. I know I say this with some regularity, but it's absolutely true. I am astounded every day when I sit down in front of this wall of the single camera I have here and the 3 lights and my monitors and run this fucking phantom of the internet setup that I've duct taped together over time, and that you folks show up for this information and silliness, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just always amazed. So thank you. And let's go to well, let's see. Do I want to go to Hannity next? Or, oh God, there's so much. There's just fucking so much. All right, let's go. I don't know what the fuck this is about. So maybe we just need a break from so I'm not just aggravated. Cause I'm proud to be at Mar-a-Lago or one of my daddy's houses. This is our hunting lodge in the IKEA forest. Yeah, he's got a bunch of guns over here. You know, for furniture. Pull up a shotgun. Make yourself at home. 4-minute video, so you know what that means. Junior will be reading nonstop this entire fucking time.
It's really important, so I need you to pay attention. FEMA has updated their new...
It's already reading. I mean, you can't get through the fucking intro part of it. You can't. And again, buy a goddamn teleprompter, you lazy 3rd-generation rich kid.
Explosion
David,
guidelines.
thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, David, for the Venmo. Appreciate it. You guys are lovely. I appreciate that. And Diana, thank you for the super chat. And Kimchi, thanks for becoming a member. And Eggs 5 no more. Aw, nice. Thanks for showing some bits. Hello. And Kelly, thank you so much.
With everything going on and the pseudo threat from Vladimir Putin, these are things.
Yeah, it's a pseudo threat. It's a pseudo threat. I don't even know why. Why are you guys worried? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? It's a pseudo threat. I mean, he put his nukes on high alert, but it's he's a friend of my dad's. They're like this. Vlad, it hurts. It hurts a little bit. Slow down.
Really need to be concerned about. So they've updated their nuclear explosion guidelines to take account for COVID-19.
Are we going to find out that this shit was added during Trump?
Folks, this is 100% real.
Yeah, they're going to do updates like this because if people have to share close quarters because they're like, oh shit, bomb shelters, right? Oh, and we still got a COVID spike, and we're losing about 1,000 a day. Yeah, we'd probably just put this in there just in case. People should take precaution if they're find themselves hiding with other people.
My quote,
because it's not like the hospitals will be that functional.
Nuclear explosion from their website, ready.gov. Try to maintain a...
Also, understand the Trump plan is don't be ready. Don't be ready for anything. No precautions, no nothing. You're free ball it. That's America. Lost in the wilderness like the Donner Party. That's how you'll discover your best self.
Of at least 6 feet between yourself and people who are not part of your household. If possible...
Who not part of your household? Are you sure this is this in English? Let's see. Who are not part of your they put the R part in there. I see. Okay.
Wear a mask if you are sheltering with people who are not a part of your household. If you are
part of your asshole, wait a minute. If you are sheltering with people who are not part of your asshole, I would wear a mask.
Of your asshole.
All right, sure. Yeah, right. If you're what? Excuse me?
Not part of your household. If possible, wear a mask if you are...
Oh, I'm sorry. He said household. My bad.
With people who are not a part of your household.
Oh, okay. No. It was household and asshole. I see. So, my mistake. It was... See, they made the mistake of using the same word twice in a paragraph when Don Jr. was reading. And he has this apparent, glitch in his head where he can't fucking pronounce the same...
Sheltering with people who are not a part of your household. If you are
experiencing... By the way, technically speaking, in the Trump family, Christmas gatherings are considered their colloquialism for it is sheltering with part of their asshole. So that, I mean, it's a mistake. It's
a medical emergency. Call 911 and let the...
Especially if someone is trying to part your asshole. What?
Operator know if you have or think you might have COVID-19. If you can, put on a mask before help arrives.
Right, because, in the case of a nuclear strike, let's say you're outside a city, it's been hit, emergency services are going to be fairly slim for a while. Heck, a bunch of doctors and nurses in the city might have been just vaporized. So we're going to be a little shorthanded. So if you could, try not to give any of them a disease that might kill them.
Many people already feel fear and anxiety about the coronavirus, COVID-19. The threat of nuclear explosion can add additional stress.
Yeah, the threat of it. There's actually no stress in a nuclear explosion. You're either gone or you switch gears into, the worst thing that's ever happened has just happened, so I guess we're fine. We'll clip that. Don't worry. And he thinks this is adorable because they put this part, engage virtually with your community through video and phone calls. Know that it's normal to feel anxious or stressed. Take care of your body and talk to someone if you're feeling upset. Many people may already feel fear and anxiety about the coronavirus 2019. The threat of nuclear explosion can add additional stress. Follow CDC guidance for managing stress during a traumatic event and managing stress during COVID-19. By the way, this little paragraph is for people who check this website. For people who would Google this and go, what the fuck? Are we entering nuclear war? What do we do? And the government goes, here's what you do. They can cause significant damage, casualty of blast, heat, radiation, but you can keep your family safe by knowing what to do and being prepared as occurred. Weapon is a device that uses a nuclear reactor to create an explosion. Devices range from small portable device carried by an individual to a weapon carried by a missile. Nuclear explosion may occur with or without a few minutes warning. Fallout is most dangerous in the first few hours after the detonation, when it is giving off the highest levels of radiation. It takes time for fallout to arrive back on the ground level, often more than 15 minutes for areas outside of the immediate blast range zones. This is enough time for you to be able to prevent significant radiation exposure by following these steps. 1. Get inside the nearest building to avoid radiation. Brick or concrete are best. This is why, besides tactical bombs or like regular ballistic weapons, the people are hiding in the train stations in Ukraine right now. Remove contaminated clothing and wipe off or wash unprotected skin if you are outside after the fallout arrived. Hand sanitizer does not protect against fallout. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. If possible, do not use disinfectant wipes on your skin. This is like basically shower, like a chemical exposure in a lab. That's right. And then go to the basement in the middle of the building. Stay away from the outer walls and roof. Try to maintain a distance. You can tell they added this because of COVID. Children under 2 years old, people who have had trouble breathing, and those who are unable to remove masks on their own should not wear them. If you're sick or injured, listen for instructions on how and where to go to get medical attention. When authorities tell you it is safe to exit, if you are sick and need medical attention, contact your healthcare provider. This is after they've told you the threat is gone or the bomb is hit and the radiation is outside of the area where you are, and you can proceed to get help or cover your injuries. They'll tell you if you've got a contagious disease, specifically COVID-19, because that's the wild card right now. You're going to want to let them know. That's what this is. Now, all the people who are going to look this shit up in a real situation, who's going to go to ready.gov and worry about nuclear fallout and explosions and stuff from what they're watching on the news? People who are afraid. People who are made anxious by the news that is going on, right? And so they're going to tell you, like, here's all the practical steps, this is what you do. And then at the end, look, the threat of this can make people stressed and anxious. If you're feeling stressed and anxious, follow the guidance for managing your stress and get some help. So they don't want people fucking going into their basement and doing themselves in. This is normal. And this is probably one of the worst reasons. Sorry, what is this? Hold on. No. Sorry, 1 second. Think. Hold on 1 second. Man, why does this scroll up every time? Fine. Okay.
Nuclear explosion can add additional stress.
The threat of nuclear explosion can add additional stress. The threat. Hence the anxiety, because you're feeling threatened, there's a threat. And because Vladimir Putin, his dad's buddy, is now threatening the world with nuclear annihilation, some people might be feeling anxious about that right now, along with the fact that they feel anxious about going out. And most of the Republicans that have dug their own little fallout shelters and shit like that, I mean, they're not going to share their fallout shelters with people who, they don't know. They're just going to leave them out there to get evaporated, like, in Linda Hamilton's nightmares.
This is real, folks. The threat of nuclear explosion.
That's a fake laugh, just so you know.
Can add additional stress. Many people already feel fear and anxiety about the coronavirus. The threat of nuclear explosion can add additional stress.
Really? Why would they feel threatened by it? I mean, I'm in Mar-a-Lago. There are no places down here they're going to hit. They're going to hit Washington, D.C. or New York City or Los Angeles or San Francisco, or Silicon Valley or Seattle or any of our ports or whatever. And I don't live, I live on a golf course. It's useless.
You can't make this stuff up. These people.
No, someone else will create it. It's guidance for safety. They'll modify it when COVID is no longer the primary threat. This is just lazy.
Insane. Go check out the official link at ready.gov. Nuclear.
That's the only good thing he's actually said. Yeah, go check out the official link at ready.gov. Sure.
Explosion, if you don't believe me. I mean, it's there. It's real.
Yes, and it's good advice.
Wouldn't you be more stressed about a nuclear explosion than COVID-19? Because
Well, these are survivors. And yes, but if you're afraid to go into a confined area where you'll be safe, because you're afraid of catching something and you're weighing it against the threat that's outside, it's a stupid decision to make. Just go inside, practice social distancing, wear a mask if you're worried at all. Yeah.
I can tell you, I would surround myself with billions of infected COVID-19 people if it could get me out of the way of a nuclear explosion. That's just me.
Yeah, but if people are gathering in because of a warning, some people aren't going to take that seriously or might make a decision based on the confined space on them. Like, they don't think it's a real threat, so they might stay outside. So to those people, the narrow focused audience you're talking about with ready.gov, you answer that and you move the fuck on. See, you can't embarrass sort of government bureaucratic instruction, like stop signs and shit like that. They're not there for emotion or even intellectual response. They're there to just give you the basic information. If it was a person that had to tell you that, they might get tired of telling you. So that's why things are posted.
Because I'm a rational human being and who understands math and the science.
And he's vaccinated.
People are insane. I mean, I can't argue that being under nuclear attack would indeed be stressful. But are you going to be thinking at all about COVID-19? Are you going to be adding social distancing and mask?
No, not now. Because you'll be aware of this, because you might have looked at that, or because you posted this very helpful video that reminds people to practice social distancing if they're sheltering with people they don't know in this particular situation, because it might not be the only disease they have. And after a while, I mean, you're going to have to eat somebody. So, limitations, if you're stuck in an elevator, that's a different story. Donner, floor number 6, 7th floor, ladies' lingerie, Donner party.
Guidelines? You're worried about COVID and a nuclear war, people. I'm pretty sure you'd all just die.
Yeah, here's the idea. Everybody's going to a shelter. You're scared about catching something. You hide someplace that is less safe because you're concerned about this. This just answers that and moves on. Again, this is the interesting thing about this is like, it's sort of, he's viewing this as a bureaucratic gotcha. The idea that government can't handle anything. That's what this is about. The reality is this is just, when you put these kind of lists together, you check a bunch of boxes so that nobody has to be embarrassed about their question. So you just fucking get on with it.
Radiation, but whatever. Minor details, right? Socially distanced in the event of nuclear fallout. This is what like a Democrat government gets you, right? They talk to everyone.
A Democrat government? No, I thought this was the deep state. Wouldn't this be a deep state thing?
They're idiots and children because they just want you to listen and be subservient. Why would I be worried about a mask in the event of nuclear war? What the hell?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you're wearing, if you had a fallout mask or an actual rebreather or something like that, that'd be good. An actual respirator, that'd be useful, I think, for at some point if you're going to go find cans of dog food after World War III.
I just read. What are these people doing? It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's in your way. I mean, I was trying to just read the ready.gov stuff. I just found myself perusing the nuclear readiness stuff on ready.gov and found this added COVID stuff. And I was like, I'm going to get killed not knowing what to do in a nuclear war because I have to read this other shit. It's like a speed bump in my reading.
Trying to make Americans live in constant fear.
Asshole, this is on ready.gov, like 5 pages down.
But folks, I wouldn't be caught dead without the appropriate virtue signaling in the event of nuclear fallout.
Virtue signaling? Good Lord.
But no mean tweets, folks. You have a mostly peaceful nuclear fallout, perhaps. We got social distance guidelines, so we checked off the virtue signaling box. It's radio.
Also, why is that virtue signaling? Because they insist on it in the instructions. So not in real life. People will just race into an underpass and all huddle together and try not to die, more than likely. But the virtue signaling is for, I guess, oh, I see. That's the kind of stuff you write if you actually intend for the world to keep on spinning. Right.
But mostly peaceful. So we're good. Right? COVID in a nuclear war. That's what these people are focused on. Do you think?
Well, for the survivors, sure. Because there's going to be, I mean, talk about overwhelmed hospitals.
Maybe it's all one big game. Do you think it's all big one joke? Do you think a cloth mask would protect you? Maybe from COVID and a nuclear fallout? I mean, I'm sure there's a Fauci email about that somewhere, probably, right, folks?
Gotcha. I don't know why he's not doing this live from CPAC.
That's how ridiculous, guys. It was updated on 2/25.
On 2/25. So they just recently did it. They updated it because people they saw traffic.
On 2/25. February 25th, 2022. Okay, that was their last update.
That was the last update. Was that when they put this stuff in? Or were there other updates? Are we to assume that that piece, that addendum, was put in on 2/25?
Send you the screenshot of it. So good thing.
Yes, send me the screenshot. Hold on. This is an asshole repeating what whoever told him to do this video, like Heritage Foundation, whoever.
That was their last update. I can send you the screenshot of it.
Yeah, he can. Yes, he'll send it to you. That's him repeating whatever, he does these videos under orders. So somebody's like, I'll send you the screenshot. You can put that as part of your video. So he's just kind of, because he's drugged out of his mind, he's just kind of repeating what the other person said that gave him that still.
Good thing nuclear radiation knows to stay 6 feet away from affecting another person. Let's make sure we focus on that. Doesn't matter what the survival odds are, folks. It's COVID. We can still weaponize that. Who cares if they've weaponized COVID-19 for 2 years? Let's keep it going a little bit.
Yes, they've weaponized COVID for 2 years. So your dad started the weaponization of COVID. Okay.
Live in fear. Not of nuclear fallout, but of COVID. These people.
Guys, this is crazy. Guys, these people, I don't know why they want you to live. I don't know why, guys, they just try to show that they actually are paying attention. You think you get points for paying attention? My dad didn't get any points for paying attention because he didn't pay attention. Okay? Okay, guys. I am reading this because Kimberly arranges my video and she organizes my notes. And guys,
idiots. Okay, guys.
Again, that's you're right. Good Lord.
Okay, guys.
The precautions. Just another side that our government is falling apart. Also, my septum is completely caved in from below.
That's right. This is the voice you get from cocaine. This is a cocaine voice.
All right. I still got some time left. So Hannity has a plan. This guy, he's a man with a plan. It's not Trump's magic plan where everything would be beautiful and fine and none of this would have ever happened and ever it wouldn't have happened. No, this is Hannity calls for Russian army to turn on tiny tyrant Vladimir Putin. So some tough talk from Sean Hannity. Sanctions slam Russians' economy. I'm sorry? Sanctions slam Russians' economy. Oh, you mean those pathetic sanctions that Joe Biden put on? Pitiful. You think you guys were just telling me 2 days ago he didn't give a shit?
This is really important, so I need you to pay attention.
Oh, sorry, that's not his voice. This is, hold on.
All eyes are on Ukraine as a bloody new chapter of war appears to be unfolding right before our very eyes. Now,
Yes, a bloody new chapter is a folding. I think it's you take the G off and put an apostrophe. It's a folding. A bloody new chapter's a folding in Kiev tonight.
Civilians are directly in Russia's crosshairs. Now, for quite some time, I've been very critical of Ukraine's government and rampant corruption in the country. And by government,
yeah, and I really didn't give a shit about them. And I was like, yeah, serve them up, put a Putin gun to their head if it helps Trump stay in office. And I've said for a long time that these people probably deserve whatever they're getting.
Officials.
And
now the military and President Zelensky and ordinary Ukrainians, they are fighting valiantly against an all-out invasion from its...
Yes, much like they did on a smaller scale when they were fighting back, when Zelensky was fighting back against his country being blackmailed and extorted by Donald Trump to get him to do a public bullshit, we're having an investigation blab fest. Yeah, like that.
Hostile neighbor to the north. Sadly, innocent men, women, children, they're dying at the hands of a tiny tyrant named Vladimir Putin. Look at this.
Yeah, that their neighbor to the west. It's a neighbor. It's just their
Year-old little girl was mortally wounded.
Oh, for fuck's sake, man. Fuck you. No, I'm not gonna let this asshole play this fucking footage. Jesus. Dude, what the fuck? He's playing it again. Get the fuck out of here. What the fuck? What a... Hannity, fuck you, you ghoul. Hold on, Jesus.
Now, the medical personnel, as you can see in that video, as they resuscitate or try to
Fuck you. I'm sorry, who am I supposed to be listening to? You or the dude you were texting on January 6th's friend? Because you're fucking two degrees away from this asshole. Literally. On a phone tree, there's a speed dial for both of you on one guy's phone.
This girl and revive this girl. They're crying. Vladimir Putin killed that 6-year-old girl. Vladimir Putin started this war. Vladimir Putin is a murdering thug who is willing to...
One moment. Fox News host Sean Hannity praised President Trump's performance at a controversial news conference with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday, saying the U.S. leader was very strong. The Fox News host, a close friend of Trump and one of the president's most ardent media offenders, said that Trump was right to home in on questions about the Democratic National Committee's handling of a 2016 cyber attack and the since-closed investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. You were very strong at the end of the press conference, Hannity. Oh, that's Hannity saying. Hannity said in his first interview following the press conference, you said, where are the servers? What about what Peter Strzok says? Where are the 33,000 emails? During the press conference, which came just after Trump held a highly anticipated summit with Putin, the president challenged the U.S. intelligence community's conclusion that Russia sought to meddle in the 2016 presidential election. The comments amounted to an extraordinary break from Trump's own Justice Department, which indicted 12 Russian officials days earlier for allegedly hacking Democratic servers during the 2016 campaign. Trump also sought to focus attention on the DNC's handling of the FBI's initial warning in 2016 that its server had been compromised by hackers and why 33,000 emails. In fact, thousands of those emails were later recovered. The FBI later concluded that Clinton was extremely careless in her handling of classified information, but ultimately declined to charge her with a crime. You were very strong. You were so strong in that. That's the one where he was like, I don't know why it would be Russia.
Even children to satisfy his maniacal territorial ambitions. You may notice here below our U.S. flag is a Ukrainian flag pin.
Oh, yeah, you're wearing a pin now. Oh, okay. So we should take you seriously now because you're wearing a pin? That's great. What is it, your fucking flair? Is Fox the Cracker Barrel of media groups?
For people like that little girl, standing in solidarity with the innocent people of Ukraine, a sovereign country needlessly attacked by a hostile dictator. Now, the world needs, I would say, a new rule. Bill Maher likes to do new rules. I want this new rule. If you are a murdering tyrant who invades a sovereign country and you kill innocent men, women, and children, you forfeit your right to lead any country. Now, the Russian military will...
Yes, that'll be easy to carry out. Got that? Okay, everybody write that down. If you're a murdering tyrant that invades an innocent country and kills men, women, and children, so currently everyone on Earth that runs a country has to step down. Is that how we're doing it now? Except Biden, who left. Yeah, like, he got us out of Afghanistan, so far he's good. No? Do you have to invade, or can you do like a missile strike from far away? Like, if you just pepper them from boats, is that technically an invasion? I just want to get this rule straight. And how do we enforce this rule?
Hear about shows.
By the way, on the kind of countries that would have leaders that would invade countries and kill people?
What? They need to stop taking orders from this murderer. They need to take him out. The world needs to agree that Putin should no longer be running Russia. He's a murdering, authoritarian thug, killing innocent civilians and
his solution is he wants his own people to snuff him. Not that it's a possibility, which it probably is, but he's calling for it openly. I'm calling for the internal assassination of a world leader. Somebody needs to put his lights out. That's the, yeah.
Civilized countries need to agree that he must be removed sooner than later and by...
But he's a genius. Why would you? I mean, if you've got somebody that savvy and that genius, Sean, and a genius who's savvy, he's savvy genius. He's like, he's savvy genius is almost stable genius. Not quite, but very close. And, I can't imagine how Trump would feel if one of his best buddies in the world, who's a genius and is very savvy, was killed.
Whatever means necessary. The people around...
Thank you, Hannity X.
Putin, I'll let you figure that out. Now, scenes like this are everywhere as Russia blasts schools and playgrounds, hospitals, large apartment buildings, cluster bombs are going off, rocket attacks,
So small apartment buildings are okay.
Stop shelling. These are not targeted attacks against Ukrainian military installations. No, it's Vladimir Putin attempting to punish Ukrainians for their resistance and break their will through a campaign of indiscriminate violence.
Yeah. Hey, asshole. Do you get the feeling this asshole just showed up to the party and goes over to the band, picks up the set list, and starts telling us what songs have already been played? Yeah, we know. Everybody else has been saying this for days.
Ukraine's Minister of Health, as of Sunday, over 350 civilians.
Like, Jesus Christ. Now he's just getting off on this stuff.
Have been killed. That number is likely much higher, including many children. Over the weekend, here's what former President Donald Trump had to say at CPAC about Putin's hostile invasion. Take a look.
And when you have a weak president who is not respected by other nations, you have a very chaotic world. I have no doubt that President Putin made his decision to ruthlessly attack Ukraine only after watching the pathetic withdrawal from Afghanistan. The problem...
Yeah, he wouldn't have done it if we were still there spending $300 million a day.
...is not that Putin is smart, which of course he's smart, but the...
Yeah, he's smart. This is smart. That's why his armored column is bogged down. That's why they still don't have the skies. It's why unarmed Ukrainians are holding back entire lines of armored vehicles because he's smart. He's a smart guy, and
real problem.
It's why his missiles hit a Holocaust memorial today.
Is that our leaders are dumb, and they so far allowed him to get away with this travesty and assault on humanity. That's what.
By the way, we did this. All right, that's what it is. It's a travesty and an assault on
humanity. They so
humanity.
far allowed him to get away with this travesty and assault on humanity. That's what it is. This is an assault on humanity. So sad.
Yeah, it says that in the teleprompter.
Putin is playing Biden like a drum.
We played the tape last week of Donald Trump without a single note lecturing in the face of...
The fuck are you talking about? Without a single note? He said the same thing 5 times based on nothing. He was talking out of his ass about NATO not paying their bills. He didn't cite anything, and he was talking about 2 countries out of 29. talking off the cuff. Get the fuck out of here. He was just reading from a teleprompter, and he had to repeat what he said.
Leader of NATO telling him how idiotic it was. We, America, paying the bulk of money for NATO to protect Western European.
Yeah, and that's why we cut off, under Trump, why he cut off funding to Ukraine to show Europe we meant business. We're going to let Russia roll in and kill these people and move closer to you if you don't kick in some more dough, which they were already doing.
Countries, NATO allies, from being attacked by Putin, and yet they're making billion-dollar deals and are becoming more and more reliant on Vladimir Putin and Russia for their energy needs, and how stupid that whole policy is. Now, I would play what the current president, Joe Biden, said, but...
By the way, if you want to... like a response to this, just watch the John Bolton chunk we did earlier.
Guess what? He was nowhere to be found this weekend. While Putin was putting nuclear...
Yeah, he was working.
Weapons in play in this conflict. Joey was taking time off in Delaware doing what? I don't know. Of course, President...
He was working. He was talking to NATO leaders, and they were ratcheting up sanctions. They had 3 tiers of them that they did. They're adding a 4th. They were arranging for and fast-tracking bills to go to Congress so that they could raise the amount of money. They were negotiating with senators and congresspeople about getting that through quickly. He just sent them more money.
Trump is right. The Western world is being stupid. We need to understand this thug for who he is.
Yeah.
We need to understand.
Yeah, he's a scary dude, and he's very dangerous. We should have just given him Ukraine, which was Trump's plan.
And that the only thing that works is strength. In fact, according to a Harvard-Harris poll, nearly 2/3 of Americans believe this attack would not have happened under Donald Trump. Why do you think that is?
By the way, I would be one of those 62%, but not because, Putin respects Trump. It's because I don't think he would have had to attack.
Because, well, Putin probably feared Donald Trump. Putin knew that Trump, if he said it, he meant it, he'd do it.
Yeah, he said it, he meant it, he'd do it, which is why he was denying them the Javelin missiles, specifically delaying them and delaying the sale, which would delay the delivery into the next year, which had, he not been found out, would have dragged even longer. And those are the very weapons that are turning the tide for the Ukrainians.
It invites chaos. It invites carnage. And by the way, Donald Trump didn't need, after 4 years of his presidency, he made America energy independent. He made America...
We're still energy independent. That started under Obama.
Net exporter of energy. That is a big factor in all of this. And without a doubt, Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan...
Even while we were a net exporter of energy, that net exporter means we still import. These motherfuckers do not understand the net concept. Net zero, they think, means total zero. Net exporter, they think, means we don't take any in. It's 100% export. No.
Stan, he abandoned...
They were still taking in Russian oil during Trump's presidency.
Our fellow citizens. You don't think that helped embolden every 2-bit dictator around the world? I said at the time it would. Unfortunately, I was right. I wish I was wrong. Take a look.
Americans held hostage, abandoned behind enemy.
Abandoned behind men. Yes. Yeah, you're wrong about that. Day 198. There aren't Americans abandoned behind.
Day 198.
Day 198.
I love that. Day 198.
Wednesday, it'll be 200 days. Joe Biden's turned the page. He never mentions them. The media mob never mentions Americans left behind, green card holders that are legally allowed in this country left behind, our Afghan.
Oh, you mean the people that Trump didn't vet and haven't gone through the SIV program because he and Stephen Miller tried to make sure they couldn't.
Allies abandoned, stabbed in the back. We promised we'd never do this to them. Abandoned all by Joe Biden. If Joe were an honest, decent leader, he would address this in tomorrow's State of the Union.
If he would address... Wait a minute. Oh, I thought he was playing a clip.
address. Well, we could talk about all the things that he should address that he won't address.
2 days ago.
He would announce a new wave of sanctions against Putin's oil and gas industry and vow to expand American energy production in order to meet the energy needs of not only our country, but the...
Oh, you mean, what he could do is he could open up 34% more oil and gas leases than Trump did during his first. Oh, he's already done that shit.
Energy needs of our allies in
So too
Europe,
is tonight.
our NATO allies. Joe's economic energy policies, they've now hurt every American family with a 40-year high in inflation. We pay more for every item we buy, more to fill our tanks. More.
Yeah, Joe, why did you use your time machine and go back to the 90s and establish a supply chain that could fall apart so much under a pandemic when you fully knew that Donald Trump was going to take over and crater the pandemic response team? How dare you?
Heat and cool our homes. Why? Because everything costs more to get it to the store. It costs more for a gallon of gasoline. I'm almost paying twice what we used to pay. He gave up America.
You're almost paying twice what you used to pay? Oh, you mean when no one was going anywhere. I see.
Energy independence. He compromised.
Hey, Sean, look at the bright side. You're paying less than you paid in 2008.
Our national security. He compromised the world security. Who would think, after inheriting energy independence, that Joe Biden literally imports 232 million barrels of oil from Russia and a billion,
which is only about 60 million barrels from what Trump did. And why? Oh, and by the way, and why is it? Why is it up? Oh, because it was down artificially because no one was going anywhere.
Barrels of oil from Iran for the first time since 1991, or 600 million barrels of oil from OPEC. Joe Biden's beholden to the radical New Green Deal socialist. He won't admit that he...
Yes, and that's why he's buying oil and gas reserves from Saudi Arabia instead of drilling into our own ground.
Wrong. He won't reverse course, and he won't again become a net exporter of energy like the economy he inherited. Italy is even now considering reviving the country's coal plants to break their energy dependence on Russia.
Yeah, why doesn't America do that? Good, clean coal, right, Sean? That's what we need. Go back to good old clean coal.
So at a bare minimum, Joe should block the U.S. from importing all Russian oil. And by the way, every decent country in the world should put that main sanction on Vladimir Putin and Russia.
That's right. It's only responsible for 30 to 40% of the oil and gas that goes into Europe and into the rest of the world. And if you cut it off entirely, the price goes up everywhere all at once. But I'm sure you won't blame Biden for that come the midterms. I'm sure, Sean, that you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart because you really care about this. I'm sure you will run shows. You'll do entire episodes dedicated to oil and gas prices are higher this summer, not because of Joe Biden, but because we had to really show Russia we meant business.
That's the sanction that will mean the most to Putin. And that's the one sanction they have not put in place. And he's saying,
it's weird. It's almost like they're not trying to starve the Russian people. It's that they are trying to control the oligarchs' money running around. That's interesting. So you allow the oil and gas industry to come in because there's people that work on it, and that's how it gets into the economy. It's the vast majority of people who are in Russia, get their money somehow through the oil and gas, either a second-tier job off of that. But the oligarchs themselves shuffle around and hide billions and all that kind of stuff. So instead of dealing with that stuff, what you should really do is cut off the spigot for the working people of Russia. This is really their fault.
That
should have
doesn't
killed
hit
Putin a long time ago, right, Sean?
Russia's energy sector is pointless. Remember, Russia, is a gas station, as John McCain said, masquerading as a country. But guess what? None of this is going to happen. Apparently, the Biden administration has no problem.
And God damn it, when is Biden going to get off that helicopter and stay off of it? Doesn't he have some work to do? Jesus Christ. Every time I turn around, he's getting off a helicopter from somewhere. Has he been, did he go back to Delaware while you were showing that other clip?
Continuing killing the Keystone XL pipeline, but blocking.
Wait, I'm sorry, continue killing?
Has no problem continuing killing the Keystone XL pipeline. But
yes, continue to kill it. Killed obviously is a big word, so Is he strangling it? It's a slow thing. Is Biden holding a pillow over Keystone's head? By the way, that's Canadian tar sands oil, and it's shit.
Russian oil and gas imports is totally out of their control. Really? Take a look.
What is the stance of the U.S. in buying Russian gas at this point? At this point, are we ready to pledge not to buy any more Russian gas?
Well, as you know, it's really. Let me give you actually kind of an update on this because it's. I think there's been a little confusion. One moment. So as it relates to Russian gas, U.S. government doesn't dictate where the U.S. market sells our own oil and gas products, nor where it acquires crude or refined products for domestic consumption.
Now, clearly, the climate alarmist.
Right. No. Asshole. Answer what she said. You played the clip. What she told you is companies buy it. Companies buy the oil and gas on the open market. They can buy it from us. They can buy it from Saudi Arabia. They can buy it from Russia. They can buy it from wherever the fuck. Some Venezuela, right? They can buy it from all these places. And what Sean Hannity asked for at the beginning of that clip is the federal government to be able to tell people what they can and cannot buy before official sanctions are put on something worldwide. So the federal government should have more control of corporations. Sean Hannity 2022. Also, COVID-19 deaths since inauguration. Right. So when did his plan come into fruition, Sean? Mid-March? Also, Biden has had a full year, and Trump did not. It started under Trump, therefore it was up and rolling about May, so it's only slightly higher in a whole year than the half a year that Trump had COVID running rampant through the country. $3.60 average price. Oh my God. It was $2.50 at inauguration, and nothing has happened since then. 7.5% year over year inflation. Since then, oh my gosh, year over year, it's terrible.
Green Deal,
since inauguration, since the inauguration, who is president? All right.
Socialist Party, they're fully in charge. They take top priority over the American people, over the world peace that we would have being energy.
Yeah, world peace because of energy independence. That's why we need more solar, wind, and geothermal and micronuclear. Right, Sean? No.
Independent, a net exporter of energy. And under their leadership, America, the world is falling apart. Take a look at your screen. Since Joe Biden was inaugurated, COVID-19 deaths are over 500,000. Gas prices nearly.
Yeah, they. He's the one who actually got everybody inoculated. Schools came back. We hit the Omicron spike and have made it through it. And most of, if not all of the mask mandates are going to be removed if they haven't already in most states. And also, there's about 100,000 of those happened before their plan was able to take place because Trump basically rode the brakes while he was in office up till day one, up till the day he stopped being president. But that's fine. And then 360 because, why gas is more expensive? Because it was really cheap. And then everybody was actually driving again. And all these oil and gas companies who are very patriotic and care about people have been trying to make up their profits.
Doubled. And again, inflation at over a 40-year high. Add to that the border crisis, the crisis in Afghanistan, and now a full-blown...
Yeah, look at our border. I mean, honestly. This Trump's wall looks like shit.
In Europe, breaking out right before our eyes, and it's clear that our State of the Union, well, guess what? The state of the world is not in a great place because America is not leading and America doesn't have a strong leader, and I bet Joe Biden's probably asleep at this hour and he probably doesn't know what day it is. But tomorrow, according to...
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. What, did I nod off when we started watching RT?
We are to expect Joe Biden to double down on the new Green Deal socialism platform as a magical cure-all for America's woes. That is the...
Yeah, that's what you're expecting. That's okay. Well, we'll keep track. That's good. Apparently, your ideas are crazy, and that's what's driving you nuts. Okay.
Dumbest policy you could ever embrace. It's no wonder Joe Biden, even ABC, Washington Post poll, has him at an all-time low at 37%, with an even lower 30% of independents approving of the job as president in the White
House. Terrible. Oh my gosh. It's almost like he's got long game and he doesn't mind.
House. We're going to have a lot more on tomorrow's speech in a moment. All eyes.
You're going to have a lot more. And by the way, speaking of that, it should be starting soon. So I'm going to leave you guys to watch the State of the Union. And then I've got to pack and go catch a plane so that I can do my show from Michigan starting tomorrow. And again, I will be, let's see, hold on. Give me a second. Let's see. There he is. Okay, so March 2nd, Park Theater, Holland, Michigan. That's tomorrow. And then the Listening Room in Grand Rapids the day after that. And then Billy's Lounge on Thursday, on Friday. And then on Saturday, the Back Alley Comedy Club in Muskegon, Michigan. So there you go. I'll post that list again. I posted it on my Twitter feed, but I will add that to the thing when I post it later on. Thanks so much, Brian. Appreciate you guys. Take care of yourselves. I got to go, like I said, pack and catch a plane. So enjoy the State of the Union. And more than likely what I'll do is I'll do the responses tomorrow. I'll just gather the response from the Republican response. We'll do that and a couple other things. So, all right, take care. Much love. See you soon. Enjoy the State of the Union. I'm going to go watch it. I got to go pop some popcorn. Okay, bye.